Hello, Pod Smashers of the Internet, and welcome to another episode of Termite's Buzz, a weekly video game podcast with your host, Termite, me, running through the things that are going on in the gaming industry, trophies I'm playing, current games I'm playing, and trophies I am collecting and targeting and going after, my trophy journey, as well as industry news going on in the week, and wrapping up with a little retro discussion at the end. This is episode 19. Thank you once again for joining me every single week, Monday, usually at midnight. I know this episode is a little bit late, and I'll get into that in a minute. We drop a new episode of Termite's Buzz. You can find that at 80bitpodsmash.com. That's our landing website with a link tree. It has all of the links to the various podcasting platforms you would care about, as well as my social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, Discord, Twitter, TikTok, etc. So if you want to interact with us, jump into any of our discussion mediums and ask questions. I would love to have your comments, questions, concerns, feedback, etc. about the content of this show if you have questions to ask or you want to engage in any way. So please hit me up. So what is going on with this episode? Why is it not at midnight? Well, I had a crazy busy weekend. Usually I can record and get an episode out over the course of a regular weekend, but I ran a half marathon on Sunday out of town, and that was on the same weekend as a very, very big neighborhood. The community I live in, we have committee meetings or circle meetings to make big decisions for our neighborhood, and one of those was to do with our condo association dues and the increase of them. So it was a big deal, and it was a big meeting, and we had to do that on Saturday, and then immediately I had to drive out of town Saturday, slept on the couch of my running friend, Gordon. Shout out to Gordon. You can go check his This Is Gonna Hurt podcast. If you just look for This Is Gonna Hurt, he does John Gordon Duncan. That's going to be his podcast. Friend of mine, he tags me in a lot on Facebook. We run together. We have run together for 10 years now. And so I went to his house on Saturday night, slept on the couch, and then woke up super, super early Sunday morning and ran a half marathon, and then drove back home. And the kids were promised a pool party type, not party, but like a pool afternoon, and then the evening slipped away. I wasn't even free until like 10 last night, and last night being Sunday. So I am recording this on the day it's supposed to go live because of a crazy weekend, but it was all good. The half marathon was absolutely incredible. I ran faster and stronger than I thought I was capable of, which is always nice and rarely ever happens in this sport of running. Usually you can predict pretty close to what you're going to get based on how you're doing in training and translating those numbers. So did a great job. So I'm happy. I'm proud of myself. I did great. It's all good. But unfortunately, this show is now like 12 to 14, 15 hours late, which is okay. The streak still goes. I have not missed a single episode of 80-Bit Pod Smash or Termite's Buzz in almost 6 years since this thing has started. We started it the same year that the Nintendo Switch came out and Breath of the Wild, 2017. And we're still going. So that's how long this show is. It's as old as Breath of the Wild is. We started in September of that year. Breath of the Wild came out in May. So anyway, what's going on? What am I playing? What's the dealio? Well, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is still all-encompassing. That is pretty much exclusively what I have been playing. Because of the nature of the handheld Switch, I was able to play even out of town this weekend. It's pretty much all I have been playing. So I dabbled in Star Wars Jedi Survivor because there was a patch, and I wanted to see if it was any better. So I did one step in the platinum, or on the road to platinum. In the gameplay, the graphics performance rather much improved over what it was at launch, but it's still not perfect. So it's better. It's more playable now, I suppose, than what it was, but it's fine. So Zelda there. So I was listening to Last Stand Media. That's Colin Moriarty's podcast group. Sacred Symbols is the PlayStation podcast that is this big product, but they just started a new one for Nintendo content, which is nice because I don't really have like a Nintendo-centric source of news, info, podcast, punditry to listen to. So he came out with a new show called Punching Up, and it's all about Nintendo. So I was listening to that podcast, and in it they have Gene Park, who's an editor for Washington Post, and he is their video game writer. So he writes stories about the video game industry for Washington Post. was on the show and was going on extensively about the Xenoblade Chronicles trilogy and how absolutely incredible it is. And one thing that stood out to me, so I always knew those games were good. I've played the Wii version of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 a lot. In fact, I probably like almost at the end, like towards the end of the game. So I know how good they are. But Gene Park mentioned that the Xenoblade Chronicles trilogy is like the true heir to the golden age of RPGs, stemming back to like Chrono Trigger in the Super Nintendo and like PlayStation era, like the golden age of RPGs. This is what the modern heir, I mean, that's a good term for it, right? It's like the next in line for that like title. And so the way he described the trilogy and how amazing the third one is, especially with the DLC that just dropped and how it ties everything together, it was all spoiler free, so I don't have a clue what that looks like, but he said the payoff is absolutely incredible and it's amazing. And I was like, okay, these games never go on sale. They're all available on the Switch, 1, 2, and 3, and I can find them used. So I did, and I bought them. So I have 300-plus hour RPGs coming to my house that I will probably never finish, but they're there. They're coming. I can't wait. I'm a little excited. So I know T-Bone, friend of the show, is super into Xenoblade Chronicles and also of the same opinion. So I'm excited to try to jump. Like, maybe it's just because I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like really into Switch right now. The handheld mode on the Switch OLED is gorgeous and beautiful, and it looks good, and it's a fun device again. It's kind of revived my love for the Switch. The Bayonetta playthrough that I was doing, where I started Bayonetta 3, I played through all of 1 and 2, and then got into 3, and then got pulled away for other things, was enough to get me like back into Switch then when Bayonetta 3 had come out, and now Tears of the Kingdom and Xenoblade Chronicles. So who knows how long this love for the Switch will go, as it does pull me away entirely from trophies, and what's coming is Diablo 4 and Final Fantasy 16. So those are PS5 games. I'll get trophies again. So what trophies am I going after? What is that life like right now? Nothing. I have no trophies to report for the whole week. I have 16 total trophies for the whole month. I'm woefully behind in my platinum count for the year, as I had predicted earlier, and I'm just kind of rolling with it. I'm not stressing about it too much because Tears of the Kingdom is amazing. Like I said, it's all-encompassing. I've done 2 dungeons now, or 2 temples, if you will. There's a little confusion about whether or not a player is in a temple. So if you're playing Tears of the Kingdom and you're like, I think I'm at the temple, there's a lot of stuff you have to do that's like a lead-up to the temples. When you're in the temple, it will flash on your screen, like exactly what temple you're in. Water temple, wind temple, and you'll know when you're there. So just throwing that out there, a little tip. But yeah, Tears of the Kingdom continues to be awesome. There's some amazing set pieces that I will not spoil, but absolutely incredible. Every day I play it, there's something that just makes me go, whoa. And it's just been really, really cool. I've definitely been doing the whole floundering to solve the puzzles in your own way with like Ultra Hand and sticking various things together. Like, there's no way that my solutions are the best way to do stuff. Like, I'll go into a shrine and just make a really long bridge and like solve that. There's like, I don't know, there's cheesy things. Like, there's a Jenga shrine where you're supposed to like pull blocks out of the stack to get to the top of the Jenga tower. I just knocked the whole tower off and grabbed the thing off the top as it was falling because it seemed like the simplest solution. And I was like, surely it was not designed to do that. But I did it that way, and it works. And that's kind of the glory of Tears of the Kingdom. If you get stuck with a puzzle, you can solve it your own way. There's other things, too, that I've done. I've known just hack jobs. Like, I've used icicles as things to, like, turn switches with. You can attach an icicle to a handle that's broken. Like, I don't know if I'm supposed to do that or not. But it worked. And so I was like, okay, did that. It's a lot of fun. So I'm really, really enjoying Tears of the Kingdom. With the only trophy thing I might be able to accomplish this month is to go to What Remains of Edith Finch, the PS5 version. I do have it installed, and it's like a 3 to 5 hour platinum. So I might be able to squeeze that in, take a break from Zelda, and just go after that. And that'll give me a nice stack for May, and it'll give me a platinum for May. Maybe, leading into June, which will have Diablo 4 trophies. Apparently the platinum for that, if it does have a trophy for max level, will require like 180 hours, so that's not happening. And then Final Fantasy 16 apparently is a 80 to 100 hour platinum as well. So big games, I don't even know. Who knows what's out even after that. So planning into the summer, I'm just going to throw my hands up and kind of just wing it and take it as it comes. We'll see. So this is going to be a news-heavy discussion because there's one cool news story that I'll talk about quickly and then another bigger one that will really be fleshed out for Wednesday. So the first news item is Mortal Kombat 1 was revealed. And you're like, what? Mortal Kombat 1 came out way back in the 90s, homie. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, the newest Mortal Kombat, which is like the 12th one, is actually going to be called Mortal Kombat 1. And I'm going to read this article from Michael McWhirter over on Polygon that will talk about the details. The next Mortal Kombat game, titled Mortal Kombat 1, an entry that will bring the series into the past, is officially coming this year. Warner Brothers Games and longtime series developer NetherRealm Studios announced the next Mortal Kombat game on Thursday with a reveal trailer, confirming that the fighting game will be released on September 19th on the Switch, PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X. The first trailer for Mortal Kombat 1 confirms the return of some familiar faces: Shang Tsung, Liu Kang, Raiden. I was going to say Raiden because of Metal Gear. Sorry, Raiden, Scorpion, Katana, Mileena, and Sub-Zero. But they look quite different from the combatants that players may know for the past 30 years, as Mortal Kombat 1 is set deep in Mortal Kombat's history. NetherRealm and publisher Warner Brothers call Mortal Kombat 1 a, quote, a reborn Mortal Kombat universe that has been created by the fire god Liu Kang, with, quote, reimagined versions of iconic characters. The developer promises a new fighting system, game modes, and the series' iconic fatalities, some of which can be seen in the debut trailer. It's linked in the article. Mortal Kombat 1 will also include a new feature called Cameo Fighters, described as, quote, a unique roster of partners to assist you in battle. So I don't know what that means yet, but I have some speculation. I'll finish this article and then I'll talk about it. NetherRealm's most recent Mortal Kombat game, Mortal Kombat 11, was released in April 2019. The developer added an additional 12 characters to the roster and released an expansion pack, Aftermath, through 2020. In 2021, the studio said it was focusing on its next project after supporting Mortal Kombat 11 for more than 2 years. Aftermath ended with longtime villain Shang Tsung defeating Kronika, stealing her time-twisting abilities, but Mortal Kombat hero Liu Kang pulls a time-traveling trick on Shang, defeating him, taking Kronika's abilities for himself, with plans to create a new era of the Mortal Kombat timeline and bring back his many dead friends. Liu Kang then travels back in time to train the original Kung Lao, preparing him for Mortal Kombat contests to come. So I guess that's a spoiler for the story of Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath. Apologies for that, but it does lead right into what this game is, which is the pickup of that, where you go back in time, and the fire god Liu Kang starts everything. So the cameo thing, my speculation here, the new feature is, I'm guessing it's like Marvel vs. Capcom, where you can like summon a character from the universe that you can't actually play as that comes in and does like a move and then jumps off the screen. So a cameo, I would imagine. Maybe it's a call to Johnny Cage being an actor. Johnny Cage not in this list, by the way, of characters that were shown off in the trailer. So I don't know how they're going to do all that. There's no gameplay footage here. It's just a cinematic trailer. It's just thematic, tone setting. It's cool, and it's gory. So it's Mortal Kombat. It looks awesome. I'm excited about it. It comes out in September. It's the perfect announcement to launch ratio that you want. 4 months, right? It's May. It's the 5th month of the year. September's 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4 months out. Perfect. We didn't know this game even existed. And in 4 months, we're going to play it. That sounds awesome. It's been in development for years. Fantastic. So I'm excited about that. I love that. Fallout 4 did the same thing. So the next and the biggest conversation piece of this podcast will be a Sony State of Play was announced, and it's coming May 24th at 1 p.m. And I will read part of the PlayStation blog post about it. It was posted on the 17th. So Sid Schumann, the senior director of Sony Interactive Entertainment, says, it's almost time to see what's next. PlayStation Showcase broadcasts live next Wednesday, May 24th at 1 p.m. Pacific, so that'll be 4 p.m. Eastern. The show will run a bit over an hour, focusing on PS5 and PSVR 2 games in development from top studios from around the world. Expect a glimpse at several new creations from PlayStation Studios, as well as spellbinding games from our third-party partners and indie creators. The live broadcast starts next Wednesday, and this is going again at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. So there's that. It's exciting. This is it. This is the big presentation. This is like, there's no June E3 at all. Like, there's no PlayStation Experience. There's no big, I mean, there's Summer Games Fest, but that's kind of like Jeff Keighley's thing. He works with other people to like get announcements and stuff out, but this is it. Like, this is going to be the big one. It's the big one, like Toy Story. So I wanted to run through things that I'm pretty certain are going to be in this state of play, and then I will go through some things that maybe I think and hope will be in there, and I'd be excited and hype about. Interesting words to say, like spellbinding games from our third-party partners when Hogwarts Legacy already exists. But anyway, so what's going to be shown off, I think I'm going to run through some of the almost guaranteed things, and then I'll break it down. So like PS5, PSVR 2 games, indie stuff, and then like what I would maybe hope to see. And most of it's going to be grounded on some research and reality, not just like super hype. Oh, they're going to remake everything, or they're going to add PlayStation 3 games backwards compatibility. That's probably not going to happen. So definitely going to see an update for Spider-Man 2 because it's still slated to come out this year. There was recently some sort of promotional materials showcased that said it was coming out fall of 2023. So Spider-Man 2 from Insomniac, definitely going to happen. Like, that's going to be shown off. We're probably going to get some actual gameplay for the first time instead of like the cinematic stuff we've seen before. Probably going to get an update from Naughty Dog about The Last of Us multiplayer. We had that Neil Druckmann presentation not too long ago discussing that it was being worked on, and it was like some concept art shown. So I do like 100% Spider-Man 2, Last of Us Factions, or whatever they're going to call the multiplayer aspect of The Last of Us is going to be showcased. Now, in a few State of Plays ago, we were presented with a game from Team Ninja and PlayStation called Rise of Ronin, and it actually showed a lot, so it seemed like it was really far along in its development process, so I would not be surprised to see more of that and maybe a release date in this State of Play. And if you remember, there was a game called Project Eve that was renamed to Stellar Blade, and it was developed by Shift Up Corporation out of South Korea. And that was the very, very sci-fi, very anime, female protagonist. Looks a lot like a Platinum Games type combat game. It's really hard to explain, but that's what that... I think we're going to get another update on that one. And then there's been a lot of rumors about some sort of Metal Gear Solid thing coming out of a partnership from Konami and Sony. And there's been some tweets of various musicians and dealings about Metal Gear Solid 3 specifically. One of the musicians was tweeted like showcasing one of the songs. So there's a lot of speculation and rumors. You can tie all of the breadcrumbs together to assume that there's going to be some sort of Metal Gear, and people are specifically highlighting Metal Gear Solid 3 for some reason. So and there's also rumor that Blue Point Games is working on that with Konami. So who knows what that looks like, but we do know that there's a Sony-Konami partnership, and there's rumors of Silent Hill, right? We know there's a Silent Hill 2 remake that was announced to be coming out as a PlayStation exclusive, but Metal Gear Solid and maybe a new Castlevania are all kind of in the conversation, in the works. So with that, a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake could be shown off this Wednesday. So some other questions? So that's pretty much like... Probably going to see those. If we get an update about Silent Hill 2, that's fine because we know it exists. It'd be great to see an update for Final Fantasy VII, the Reborn, I guess is what it's called, the Remake 2. And then Death Stranding 2, we also know that exists, and we've seen some stuff from that. So those are pretty realistic to think that we're going to get in the State of Play. That's a lot. If we get just what I said, that's like an A. A rank A State of Play. That's ridiculous. So Sony is like turned on, right? They're doing all kind of cool stuff. Now, we don't know what Sucker Punch is working on. Is there a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima? We don't know. There's nothing been official about that, but it'd be really cool if there was something, whatever they're working on, if it is Ghost of Tsushima 2. We don't know what Housemarque's next game was. Returnal has been amazing. It's awesome. It was ported to PC and supported, so who knows what Housemarque is working on. And then Sony Bend had a tweet not too long ago in April that showcased like a pen that had their logo on it, like an ink pen laying on the desk of a PlayStation Studio logo or something. So like that's another like update maybe we'll get Sony Bend. Days Gone 2, we know was not happened. There was a whole debacle about like an Naughty Dog and Uncharted, and I don't remember all of the details, but apparently it was like the team that was going to work on the proposed Days Gone 2 was pulled off of Sony Bend, and I don't remember the details, but anyway, apparently there's not going to be a Days Gone 2. So whatever that tech that they used to make Days Gone 1 used in a new game would be awesome. So to hear anything about Sony Bend, that'd be fantastic. Don't forget Firewalk is another studio that was bought by Sony back in April, and they announced that they're making a AAA multiplayer game. And then we have Haven Studios acquired in March, so Sony acquired them with no game announcement yet. That's Jade Raymond's studio. And then Santa Monica Studio just came out with God of War Ragnarok, so unlikely we'll see anything from them, but maybe we will. It's also likely we will see a Mortal Kombat 1, so I just talked about that. Maybe there'll be some gameplay at this State of Play as well, but who knows. So that is the PlayStation 5 games of things. So let's talk about PSVR 2. Probably going to get a Beat Saber release date showcase, like an update about what Beat Saber's port's going to look like. Maybe some music packs thrown in or something, who knows. But we know that that's coming. It's been announced already. And then some get hype moments. There's going to be like some PSVR 2 games, and there are going to be a bunch of games I've never heard of that'll be ported from like the PC VR world or other like stuff, and I'll be like excited about it. But I'm not tuned into the PSVR world or the VR games that are out there. So like games such as Star Tenders and Job Simulator or whatever, I don't know like what's in the works because I don't usually follow the VR stuff. I'm getting more educated now that I have a PSVR 2. I care more. But get hype moments, 2 of them, would be if they port Astrobot Rescue Mission from PSVR 1 to PSVR 2. That would be amazing. I would absolutely love it. I've been dying to play that game ever since it came out. And I was hoping there would be backwards compatibility with PSVR 2 before I pre-ordered it. And it was announced that it was not. But I still bought one anyway. So hopefully they can get a port for this game because I need it. And the last would be an absolute dream scenario is to get Half-Life Alyx finally ported from Steam and Valve over to PSVR 2, where I can finally experience it as that is the single most I want VR game ever, maybe next to Beat Saber. Those 2 games. So let's do it. Let's go. Get hype. Who knows what's going to happen with PSVR 2. I hope there's something there. I hope there's something that gets me really excited about PSVR 2. I have Call of the Mountain, and that's it. Of course, Gran Turismo 7 and Resident Evil Village, but of those games, the one that's exclusive to VR is the Call of the Mountain. And I haven't finished it yet, because every time I play it, my eyes hurt, and I've been pulled away by other stuff. So I need to circle back around, make time, finish Call of the Mountain, get that Platinum Trophy, and then I'll be free to play new stuff, and I want to play more VR. So give me more VR. Beat Saber's probably the only thing that would like interrupt my current gaming situation to make room for it. If it were to be dropped, say on Wednesday, maybe it's a shadow drop. Maybe we get Beat Saber. Boom, done. And then for indie games, I don't follow indie stuff a whole lot, but I do know that we have seen that Hades 2 is being developed. There's a follow-on to Hollow Knight, and I don't remember its name, also being developed, so maybe we'll see those, updates about them, release dates, etc. And don't forget about Mina the Hollower from Yacht Club Games. They're the developers of Shovel Knight, so it's their next game. I have it on my fantasy pick, so maybe we'll get a release date from them about that. And then Sea of Stars is coming in August, and that is the very Chrono Trigger-esque RPG, 16-bit looking. They got the music director or the composer from Chrono Trigger in for this game. There's countless articles everywhere about it. It looks amazing. It's an RPG coming out, like I said, in August that I'm super excited about, so it'd be cool to see more of that game, maybe a little bit more details about the combat system or like the characters. That'd be super fun. All of that is the potential. The State of Play is going to be epic. I think there's going to be something here for everyone. It's going to be great. I can't wait. I'm going to watch it as soon as it goes live at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. I'll be there. I'll be there. I will not be square, and I will talk about it. I will run through all of the news on next week's episode of Termite's Buzz. And that didn't take as much time as I thought it would. So for my retro discussion, I'm still just so consumed by Tears of the Kingdom that I've really not made any room for any retro games. I did continue to play a little bit of Grand Theft Auto 4. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm down to like I have less than 10 missions left. I'm that close to the end. So everything picks up. The game's mechanics are so awful. I hate to say that because it has a way of aging that's not terrible. It doesn't play as bad as like Ape Escape did on PlayStation original, right? It's just not modern. So you go into one of the missions you have to drive to go blow up 5 vans, and these vans are parked around like an industrial complex, and you can drive in and you can hit a few enemies with your car and get out, and just the cover system is clunky and the aiming system is awful, and so like the camera, it auto snaps to enemies you're not even trying to fire at. It's really difficult to take cover, so you just absorb gunfire and you die really fast, and you have to do all this stuff over again to get to the mission just to even try it. So like, yes, you can retry the missions when you fail them, but it starts you at the very beginning, so you have to find another car, you got to drive to the spot again. It's annoying, and it's not super easy to redo over and over again in this kind of situation, and I die. And I'm also at the point where I have to go to a gun store and buy a body vest, I guess a bulletproof vest, and so that takes, every time you have to restart the mission, you've died, so you've lost all of your bulletproof body armor, so you have to go buy another one. So restart the mission, go to the gun store, buy the body vest, find a car, go back to where the mission is, and try again. And that in and of itself takes like 10 minutes just to even get back to the setup. So it's awful, and I've only died a few times in this mission, and I'm just not super excited to continue pushing through. But I have to, because there's other games I'm dying to get to on the PlayStation 3 on my Frankie. I want to get into Black Ops, Call of Duty Black Ops 1. I have not played the campaign of that ever, so I need to get back into that. I would love to experience, as I love this idea of playing like short-ish, like 8 to 10 hour campaigns, single-player games on the PlayStation 3, not going after platinums, because the platinum trophies on PlayStation 3 are awful, and most of them require multiplayer trophies. I have explained ad nauseum about that on this show. There was like multiplayer passes included in single-player games with like a code to play multiplayer online, and it was a way to like artificially pad the game with extra attention-seeking tactics, monetization strategy, as well as deter people from trading in games or deter people from buying used games, because in order to play multiplayer, you have to pay $10 to get online. Anyway, all that aside, the multiplayer trophies are included with almost every PlayStation 3 title, making PlayStation 3 Platinums awful. So I don't want to platinum games, I just want to get through some campaigns, so I'm looking to do... I just bought the Doom 3 BFG edition. It was for sale at Best Buy on their website. Brand new sealed for $15. And it's Doom 1, 2, and 3. Now, I've played through Doom 1, 2, and 3 already on PS4. In fact, I almost got platinums in those games. I did a really good job in getting as many trophies as I could. So I want to do them again, because the games are so great, but I can do it on PS3 now and get more trophies. Those are quick. I can run through them fast. So I can play through these Call of Duty campaigns, play through some Doom, and I want to get into some other games. I have so many PlayStation 3 games now that are part of my collection that I want to get into. So that is that. So sorry that Tears of the Kingdom has taken up so much of everything. I guess this is a short episode. It'll run. It looks like the runtime will be close to a half hour. So thanks for hanging out with me. I apologize for the late launch of this episode of Termite's Buzz. Next week, I'm sure, will be much longer. In fact, I might just go ahead and prime you now. Next week will be longer, because I will go over all of the State of Play news that's coming out, that will have already come out by the time next week's episode launches, and I can't wait to watch the show and go into details about what all the Sony studios are making for PlayStation, and to get excited about the second half of the year, because we don't really know a whole lot of stuff that's coming out after June. We knew that Final Fantasy 16 comes out June 22nd, and then Sea of Stars is August 29th. But after that, there's a whole lot of mystery. Maybe we'll see updates to Gollum. Maybe we'll see Final Fantasy 16 again, because they just keep promoting it and showing things. The embargo for some preview footage went live today, so there's a lot of preview footage of Final Fantasy 16 out there. So I'm trying to stay a little bit media dark about it because I'm sold and I want to play it. Don't want to know or see more. So hopefully there's not a lot of Final Fantasy 16 footage at the State of Play. The State of Play is only going to be an hour, and if everything that I just mentioned was included, it would be a lot longer than that. So probably not going to be everything, but I hope that there's something to wow and surprise us, something completely unexpected, that there's something completely off of my predictions list or anything that could have come out based on what I said. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I have a huge list of things that are potential for Sony to talk about that we know about. I want to be teased with something new that we don't know about. That would be awesome. So with that, I leave you all. I hope you have a great week. I look forward to seeing you next week when I talk about the PlayStation State of Play as well as any other industry news that comes up. And if I finish Tears of the Kingdom sometime this year, I might actually play something and have more to talk about other video games. Maybe I finish Grand Theft Auto 4. Maybe I play Edith Finch and get a platinum. Who knows? We'll see how the week goes. So for now, I will see you next week.